Everyone makes one massive mistake when they think about Russia. We all assume that economic sanctions from the West or seemingly endless wars are the biggest threats to Russia's economy. But that's not true. The one thing that could actually damage Russia's economy the most is the rapidly approaching collapse of Russia's population. Russia's population story is one of highs and lows, but lately it's been mostly lows. Back in 1991, when the Soviet Union collapsed, Russia had a population of about 149 million. By 2023, that number had dropped to about 143 million, despite the fact that Russia has had a few controversial expansions of its territory. But that's not even the worst part. According to the UN, Russia's population could shrink to between 74 and 112 million by the end of the century. To put that in perspective, Russia could lose nearly a third of its population in less than 80 years. Now, this isn't just a slight dip, it's a demographic landslide. So what does this mean for Russia's economy? First, there's the issue of labor. Russia's workforce is shrinking. And that's a huge problem for an economy that relies heavily on industries like energy, manufacturing, and agriculture. According to World Bank data, by 2050, Russia's working-age population is predicted to fall from about 72% of its entire population to only 62%, which is a loss of nearly 28 million workers. Now, fewer workers means lower productivity, and when productivity dips, well, so does the economy. For a country trying to maintain its status as a global power, this is a bit like trying to keep a car running on an empty tank. Labor shortages also mean higher wages, which sounds great for workers, but not so much for businesses who are trying to stay competitive. Manufacturing hubs, factories, and even service industries will all likely struggle to find skilled workers, which will force many of them to turn towards automation. But here's the thing, robots can only do so much, and also, robots don't contribute to consumer spending, which brings us to another point. A declining population means fewer consumers, and less spending means less demand, which could also further choke economic growth. Now, there's also the impact on innovation. Historically, younger populations drive innovation. They take risks, they start businesses, and they create new technologies. But with fewer young people in Russia, the pace of innovation will likely slow. And this is bad news for a country that wants to compete in the global tech and energy markets. Because if innovation stalls, then Russia's economy risks falling behind even further. It's a bit like trying to win a chess match with fewer pieces on the board. It's not impossible, but it's a lot harder. With an aging population and a growing number of retirees, the burden on working-age people in Russia is skyrocketing. The dependency ratio, which is the number of retirees supported by each working person, is climbing really fast. Pension funds are under enormous pressure and healthcare costs are only going up. Now, the government is already spending a significant portion of its budget on social services, and as the population grows older, this cost will only grow. So imagine trying to balance your household budget while your expenses keep going up and your income keeps shrinking. That's essentially what Russia is facing. And also, let's not forget about Russia's image as a strong country. A declining population doesn't just weaken the economy, it also undermines Russia's geopolitical standing as well. For decades, Russia has prided itself on its vast landmass and large population as symbols of its strength. But with fewer people to defend its borders, to run its industries, and also to contribute to its military and economy, well, that image of strength will basically start to crumble at some point. Now, another big part of this economic story in Russia is emigration and brain drain, and this is not a part that a lot of people are focusing on. In 2022 alone, more than 1 million young Russians are believed to have exited the workforce, many of them being highly educated professionals. But Russians aren't the only thing going out of Russia. Huge companies are as well, and they're taking tens of thousands of jobs with them.
And tonight, more global companies are taking a stand against Russia in response to its invasion of Ukraine. Those companies include IKEA, which today announced it was suspending operations in Russia and Belarus. Other companies like Ford, BP, and American Express have made similar moves.
So what's causing Russia's population collapse? An obvious factor is a falling birth rate in Russia. For years, the government has tried to incentivize higher birth rates through measures like cash bonuses for families with multiple children. But these policies simply haven't worked as well as the government would have liked. Economic uncertainties, high cost of living, and cultural shifts from generation to generation have led many young people to delay or in some cases even forgo having children. The result? A birth rate of 1.5 children per woman, which is among the lowest in Europe and is also far below the 2.1 birth rate per woman needed to maintain and replace the population. In the end, Russia's demographic crisis is a ticking time bomb for its economy. The shrinking population threatens labor markets. It also threatens innovation, social services, and even the country's global standing, which is why Russia's economy is facing a major threat as the population slowly collapses. Because in the grand chessboard of global economics, it's hard to play and win the game when you're running out of pieces, or in this case, literally running out of people. Now, if you want to learn about how China's economy is facing a similar but more extreme version of this same problem, then you should watch this video next.